Ron, I don't know that I've ever asked, but what did your dad do for a living?
He was an electrician.
And where were you from?
Well, I was born by Doc Grant, Jamestown, but we lived at the viaduct there in Columbus.
Okay.
Right by the railroad.
Yeah.
And then we moved to North Warren when I was 6. And then in '52 we moved to Youngsville.
So that's where you did your high school schooling? Was
Yeah, that ain't on now, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy.
No, we never asked that question. And what was your impetus to get into racing? What was?
Well, I went to school from 6th grade on up, graduated in Youngsville, but had a girlfriend, and her dad was Frank Roman. Mm-hmm. And when I was in high school, I mean, I went up there, and then pretty soon I'm full-time helping him all the time, and he thought I ought to have a little car, which I did too, but I was scared to death. I didn't want to get out there. And then the first week we went a rollerball, I got $6 for third, I think it was. And then next week was that 35-lap championship. And I got $14 and a trophy and a kiss from some girl, I don't know. But you thought I'd won Daytona, I tell you what. From then on, it was all racing.
Yeah, is that right?
Yeah.
What was Frank Roman? We've heard a lot about him, and what made him sort of unique? What was his style of setting up a car?
Well, weight-wise, he used to run them coupes like I did, but he'd run high gear and 13-inch tires. And his Buzz Brooks driving for him. I don't know if they ever won one, but they were always second. And well, then I come along, and then Frank taught me everything about. He taught me more and told me more than he really helped me. But he showed me everything: how to weld and how to build cars light, and that was a big asset back then. Back then, if your car didn't miss, you had a good chance of winning. I mean, it was ridiculous, some of the stuff out there. But
so your first racing experience was at Rollerball.
yeah.
And what year was that, Ron?
60.
60.
1960. And I gave that trophy I got to Blinky, and he put it in that Blackville Museum.
Okay.
But I had it 47 years, I think, when I gave it to him. And it always held up. It was just a plastic trophy, but the first one, you know, it meant something.
Absolutely. Well, we're so thrilled. And then shortly thereafter from Rollerball, did you then go to Coon Road?
Yeah, Coon Road. And I don't remember running there very many times. Probably run a half a season or something before we went to Arkwright. But Coon Road was uphill on one side and downhill on the other side. And I remember that Dover Spike was the hot dog there. And then the Gilbert boys and the Hanson. There's 3 Hansons, I think, well, 3 Grillberts. That's why their number was 3 G's. But I knew another guy out there. I can't think of his name. I think it was Don something, but he had a 50 Oldsmobile, and it was so funny. We got to be really good friends. He'd go by me like crazy, but he never finished the race. The Oldsmobile motors, they'd tip over and break the fuel pump off, if you remember that or not. If you didn't time down good, the fuel pump would break off when they were rocking and rolling, you know. But I had some good friends from up there, but the biggest thing I remember about Coon Road is they had a mechanics race, and they run the track backwards. Instead of going right, you went left, just so the mechanics wouldn't go too fast and wreck the cars. And my father-in-law got in mine, went out there, and I kept going, why don't he floor that thing? And he come in, I said, why didn't you open it up? He said, oh, I had it on the floor the whole time. And that was funny. But we always got paid at Coon Road. I don't know how much now, but we did get paid. A lot of places didn't get paid.
Oh, is that right? You just raced for the hell of it?
No, like Bradford, they would never pay you down in Bradford. But we'd talk them out of some toll money.
Okay.
But I would have raced for nothing.
What was your car? Do you remember what kind of car you had at Coon Road?
Yeah, 37 Chevy. Same. I had 4 of them. Like, there's my bottle list yet.
Oh yeah.
Little coupe.
Yeah.
That was one of them that people had built for me. And I had a lot of them people had built for me, my various cars, but one time I come home and the babysitter's letting all my kids play and they're smashing them up. Oh, it was a mess. I just had to trash them. They thought they were, I don't know what matter with my babysitter. The kids were all banging them around.
So what was your number?
4
4.
and 4 junior.
So you, throughout your career, it was always that, one of those 2 numbers?
Yeah.
Was there a reason for the 4?
Well, at that time, you like to have Frank, I really stole it from Frank. You wanted a 1-digit number, it seemed like. And so 4 was open, and my lucky number was always 7 back then, but it's changed to 4 now. But he took 4, and then the little car, I thought maybe I'd be junior.
Yeah. So these were all sportsman's cars or jalopies at that time. So rollable, then Coon Road, then Arkwright.
Arkwright. And then Stateline started having 100 lappers once a month, say Tuesday or Wednesday night. And I remember getting home from Erie. Erie did too. And I got home just in time to see. Back then, you had to wait for your money. Here, you got shoved back. And I'd get home just in time to go to work at Sylvania at 7.
Oh gosh.
Shower and go to work. Boy, was I dead. But if you didn't wait for your money, you got tossed back a few spots, you know. But then they started paying you the week later, and there was no struggle, you know. But I remember I'd get hard up about on Wednesday, and I'd go over to Mildred, Lloyd's wife. Mm-hmm. She had a Chrysler, and show them the trunk. There's the whole payroll in the trunk. I'd get my envelope and go. But wonder if she never got ripped off on that.
Yeah, unbelievable. And Stateline, Erie, did you ever go beyond that circuit?
Yeah, I went to Olean, Wattsburg, Port Royal, Clearfield,
Okay. Yeah.
Smithport. I went down to Parkersville, West Virginia. We did good down there. We was running second. We were the one, but the rear end went out. That was the end of that. But I never. Well, back then the cars weren't legal to go anywhere else. And so after Stateline set them rules, you had to have the right grill in it for the right year car, and you couldn't go anywhere else because we were too heavy.
Yeah.
But eventually it opened up when Chubb got up there, and Franny changed the rules, and then you can compete with them, like Boom Briggs and Chubb. They've done good.
Yeah. Is that a regret? Would you have liked to have done more of this?
I quit in '78 because it was a time you had to buy a car instead of build one, because the pieces you buy are so much lighter and better than junkyard pieces. And I was too heavy. That last year I won the late model championship in '78, but my car weighed 3,250. I'm running against cars that were 2,100. Right. And so I had to either quit or make a change. And I thought I'd better take care of my business. That's what happened. I had that West End Auto Parts, and I thought I'd just better start paying attention.
Jim Scott. Jim Scott's a buddy.
Yeah, real good.
Give me your best Jim Scott story.
Well,
maybe there are many, I don't know.
Well, they had a big hassle one time. They give Chuck Piazza the trophy, I think, but I think Jim Scott won the race. But I don't know how it got so screwed up. But I remember running Sportsman up at Stateline, 87 cars, and me and Lundmark and Dill were in the last row. And we were just in front of the lead cars at the flag.
My gosh.
You know?
Oh my gosh.
And how do you keep track when they in the pit and out of the pit? And the scoring was an awful problem back then. I even went down to motor room, and they lost track and they stopped to race it. At 45 laps, they did not have a clue who was leading the race. And so scoring has got a lot better, but back then it was, I can see why it was so hard. And
Did you, having raced all those years, was there a couple of highlights for you, Ron, where you said, this is the race, Greg, I really remember, or maybe this is a...
Well, the first one, of course, and I won quite a few of the 100-lap sportsmen. And when I had all my kids there and I won, that seemed to be the best one, because I thought, how can I be so lucky? And it seems so easy when you win. I mean, most of the time it seems easy, but it ain't easy no more, I don't think. But back then, like I said, the car, if it didn't miss and it run good, and it's a lot different than it is today. I mean, they're all capable of winning now. Back then, there wasn't that way.
So who was your competition during the... Really?
Well, my hero was always Bobby Snars.
Yeah.
And then Skip Furlow, and Jim Scott, Sammy. I mean, well, pretty well all of us got along good. I mean, but there's usually a fight every night.
Was a finale normally involved in that?
Yeah, quite often. But, you know, after it's all over, like Tom Dill, he used to pick on me awful. And then I told the boys at work that I'm going to fix that guy. And one of them said, why don't you turn around? Here he comes, and tell him. Here, Tom Dill fixed fork trucks. And
really?
He come into Savannah, and he was working on our fork truck there. And I had to, and he always had a grin on his face, you know. I mean, I don't care how mad you were at him, he's going to grin at you. And he come in grinning, and I turned around, and I couldn't believe it. Here I'd been mouthing off to my friends how I was going to get him, and they said, why don't you tell him?
Well, I got the impression from everybody that though he was aggressive on the track and took liberties perhaps, but when the day was done, somehow you really couldn't.
No, I mean, like they say, we're all after the same real estate, you know.
It must be a sense of pride when people talk of that time period and reflect back on history. Certainly in the sportsman's class, there's Ron Blackmer, and then there are others. I mean, you were really the toast of the class.
Well, I was very lucky. I had a good teacher, and I usually had a good car, and I usually kept it fresh. And but I was lucky more than anything.
Were you able to earn a living racing?
Yeah, I did, with the little car and the big car both, for 2 years, about in 70, before I bought West End. For 2 years, well, I had my garage, but I'd paint a car once in a while, but most of my money comes from the little car and the big car.
Yeah. So you left Sylvania at that time, too?
Yeah, in 70.
I mean, who was your role model? Was it Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, me and Squirt didn't get along too good. And
why was that?
well, Squirt always run the inside.
He did?
And I run outside. So I'm catching him, and it was a 23rd lap, and I'm coming. And he moved right out in front of me, and nobody's seen it, but I shot him into the corner, and he spun out, and he come around when I got the flag, and he says, you're going to get yours. And I went in and I told Frank, I said, I hit Squirt. You never touched him. He spun out all by himself. I said, I hit him way back there.
Yeah.
I sent him into that corner. But after that, Squirt was so good to me, and we got along after that.
Yeah.
We never touched each other. I mean, it's hard not to touch, but there was no orange paint on my car.
Yeah. As you look back today, do you miss it?
Racing?
Yeah.
Oh, I still do. That's my wife. Every time I get in the car, she says, you're going to get caught. You're going to get caught. You know, I'm always on the pedal.
Yeah.
The wrong one.
Yeah. This is great, Ron. What am I looking at here?
It's 55 T-Bird.
Okay.
Let me put the hood down.
Okay, so tell me about it.
Well, I had Danny rebuild the motor, and I rebuilt the rest of it. All new spring shocks, and then I had Link. He painted it. He's the best painter around here. Him and his boy Jimmy.
Right. Absolutely.
And it's dusty there now, but it looks tall when you shine it up. Even Danny Rooma told me that's the right one, and he's not a Ford man.
Yeah. Spectacular. So you and Vicky troll around it?
Oh yeah. I'm gonna move it and get something different.
What's your prize car? What's the
I always wanted a 34 Ford with the suicide doors. I just love them things.
Have you found one?
Well, I missed out on a lot of them, but now it's hard to find a steel one. They're all plastic bodies, but it's hard to find a good 34 Ford. But they're out there if you want to pay.
Yeah. Well, it's no problem for you. Come on.
Yeah, right.
You're a sport. Thank you, Ron, for letting me come in tonight.
You betcha.